howdy. Welcome in to this week's Team Trials track guide. It's good to see some of you guys in the comments last week. It was nice to see the love. It's good to know that you guys are watching these and enjoying them. So this week, Team Trials is LAAX based again. Shown a lot of love for LAAX recently, which is good. I like LAAX. I know some of you guys. I know Nate on Twitch, not a big fan of LAAX, so that's fine. I love it. I think it's a great track. Again, this is another track Foxeer sponsored by the looks of it, which is awesome. Good to see. Nice to get the little bit more branding and stuff in there from us for us FPV guys who you know love a good brand. I believe this one is also set up as a nighttime track, which it was not normally. I think it was normally a daytime track. So let's jump on in. No, it's a daytime track. Has it always been a daytime track? Maybe it has. I know the pipe maze one certainly wasn't. But yeah, it's another oldie but a goldie, and there's a definite improvement on this track compared to the old version of it, which I will point out when we get there. So first things first. Off of the start gates, it's a straight out drag down through this gate, and then it's a kind of like a slightly off angle, spirally sort of roll over these. What do you call these? Swings, gondolas, I guess. So yeah, it's a kind of off angle thing. You don't have to feed in too much yaw or anything. You can just kind of roll your way through there. A bit like the pipe maze section as well. Really, what you want to make sure you're doing with this is maintaining the momentum. You know, not kind of make it one fluid move over the top. You don't want to be kind of coming at it and taking bites at it, you know, kind of like, ooh, that was a bit bad, but kind of like coming over and sort of like, it's hard to explain. So you can feel in the quad when you hit like prop wash and you kind of bounce into your own wake almost, and you get like a kind of little juddery vibration on the screen. You can kind of tell, you can hear it in the prop noise. I think really a lot of what this section boils down to is field of view. So make sure you've got a decent field of view. I think mine's set at like 115 at the moment, which is enough that I can sort of see where I'm going ahead of time. That will help bring the gates into view quicker. The top of the screen there, you saw it, which will allow you to kind of plan that move ahead. It's a lot of kind of throw it in and hope, but at the same time there's enough time for you to look ahead and adjust if you need to. It kind of, you know, at first, I know when I used to fly this track, it kind of feels a little bit unsighted, but it's really not. It's, I think once you've nailed the flip over the over the lines here, you kind of get a feel for just being able to spot where that gate's going to be and just throwing it through there. It's a good little full stick section. You know, you don't have to come off the throttle for anything. You just pin it and hope. You can see I'm hitting it a few times. It's been a couple of hours since I flew this first thing this morning before work. Very straight slalom here through these. You can cut them super duper close. You know, try and get a little bit higher up than the bollard markers, because if you're cutting them super fine, you can kind of, there's a tiny little bit more space at the top above that kind of metal base on these lamps. You know, just feels a tiny bit tighter, I guess. This bit, very much a sort of yaw your way through. I try not to feed too much yaw in because I find it can get a little bit drifty. So you'll kind of notice I probably come through there a little bit sideways. But really you're trying to minimize the angle of attack and go through that kind of gap in the middle of the gate when it's as small as possible. If you're finding that you're coming around from behind and lining it up and you're going through it straight, that's where you'll be losing time. The best way to attack it is really side on and punch your way through when it's kind of at a small angle, because then you're, as we said in the pipe maze tutorial for solos this week, you're minimizing the angle of attack and you're straightening out that corner like you would in a Formula 1 car. It's very much about making the corners as straight and as straight line as possible, really. They're always going to be corners. But if you have to turn less, then that's even better. Because when you're turning is when you're kind of losing your sort of forward momentum, and that's what really gives you a lot of speed. These next gates, obviously as you're coming through here, it's just a straight out drag, just kind of keep to the left of that cone. These can be really tough because you're expected to kind of drop in from above and kind of line them up, but obviously the quad and the way that gravity is sort of working on you can kind of be a little bit awkward. Really, when I was learning these the first time, what I would do is kind of come up over the top, come off the throttle, and wait for myself to kind of see when I was in a good spot to pin it. So you can kind of see, you kind of float over the top, wait for it to open up, and then just full throttle your way through. Wait until it looks like you're in the right place, just full throttle through. If you're going to try and do these fast, really it's a kind of rainbow flippy style, you know, minimize the angle of attack again, come in from the side. You're not really kind of looking to be above these gates when you go through, you're kind of looking to be sort of coming at them from a sideways kind of angle. It's a tough sort of maneuver to pull off well consistently to begin with, but it's surprising how quickly you'll pick it up when you kind of get a feel for it. Rainbow flips in general, that kind of yawy sort of motion, it's good to just sort of practice around these gates and just kind of, you know, like I was saying, the way that gravity works when you're kind of off angle like this and trying to push through it can throw you a little bit. So I do like to just kind of loop my way around these a little, get a feel for how gravity is going to treat me, and where it's going to be pulling me down. And again, on this one, you're kind of coming at it from the other angle, so you know how much I love right-hand turns. Not. So it's a good thing to just kind of drill yourself on and kind of get used to how it feels. I mean, you can see there, it's tough even for me, and I'm not the fastest guy in the world, I always say it, but it's an interesting mechanic to throw your way through there. This is pretty simple. I like to personally cut it quite close between you can see the bollard and the satellite dish there, on the side, or whatever that is. I like to do that, drop through here, and then you can attack this gate, which is one of the the main improvement on this track. You can see there, minimizing the angle of attack, really coming through it sideways, but just making sure that you're obviously on the right hand side of this next bollard. This gate here used to be originally a McDonald's gate, and thankfully the guys at Foxeer have obviously turned around and said, no, we don't want a McDonald's gate on our track, which is awesome because it means we get a nice normal gate, and significantly less chance of actually smashing into the damn gate on the way through. So yeah, that is a big plus that this track has going for it over the original, is the lack of that McDonald's gate, which I'm very pleased for. So yeah, that's Archway Aggro. Again, it's a kind of another track that we've seen before, but honestly, I do love it. It's a good fun track when you really hook it up. It can certainly be really rewarding. So as always, we'll give it one go, and depending on how this goes, probably end up watching the replay. Right, let's go. So flowy. Something's happened, I don't know. I am on the beta version of this build, so let's try that again. There's a few bugs that DCL is sorting out in this beta version of the build. I did think it was weird that I was so far ahead of everyone. But I'm not that good. Whoa, overshot that. Never mind. One more go, seeing as it cocked us up. And because I'm addicted. Ooh. Not perfect through there, but not terrible. Ah, a little bit too high, it sucked. See, there's definitely plenty of time for me to be making up on this track though, which is good. It means the grind this week will be real. Hoping to get some time in streaming on Twitch. If you guys haven't seen already, Keepy has been streaming a lot recently. That's cool to see some of the Apex guys back in. Ah! How annoying. Yeah, it's good to see some of the Apex guys back streaming on Twitch again. Obviously, Andreas streaming very regularly, so if I'm not around, it's probably because one of those guys is streaming instead. So, you know, definitely give them a view if you're on Twitch, because I'm sure they're grateful for all your support. Anyway, my personal best so far for this week. Yeah, definitely not as smooth through that as I would have wanted to been. Oh, we hit the floor there apparently. How do we do here? Overshot that a little, overshot that a little. As we said, there's definite room for improvement. Way wide over there. Oh man, it's almost embarrassingly bad. Better through there the second time. Low through that section, which maybe not ideal. Big wide loops through those, so they need to be tightened up considerably. Kinda wide through there the next time, a little bit backwards. Whew. Really threw it into the finish gate as well. Yeesh. But no, that, you know, I think that's a good example, I think, of how you can set a relatively competitive time very early on in the week, but really finessing that lap is all about the grind, and that's not for all people, definitely not. But you know, if you're willing to put the time in and put the effort in, this is a really rewarding track. So I hope it was helpful for you guys. I hope it's helped shave some seconds off of your times for the week. And yeah, as always, if you've got any questions, queries, comments, whatever, drop them below. I'm going to hopefully be streaming on Twitch this week. If I'm not, I will try and host Andreas and Keepy on my channel. And likewise, if you spot those guys on, drop in and say hello. You know, us Apex sort of guys are always more than happy to engage, and I know you'll definitely pick up some incredible tips off of those guys. Far better tips than I could ever give you. So yeah, I hope it was helpful. I hope it was useful. Drop in on the stream if you see me around. Say hi, and yeah, I guess there's one thing left to say. Play safe, play fast, play Apex. I'll catch you guys in the next one. See you around.